Hello and welcome back to another episode of the English Language Learning Podcast. This is a headline episode where I will read to you a headline, a title of a news story or a news article, and you can try and comprehend first the headline. Then we will look at a word or phrase in the headline for you to think about. You could be sitting down and studying or just listening to this as you do something else in your day. So here is the headline for our first segment from apnews.com by Matt O'Brien and Barbara Ortute, October 31st, 2022. So it's old. I'm in January 2023. Musk floats paid Twitter verification, fires board. Musk floats paid Twitter verification, fires board. Musk floats paid Twitter verification, fires the board. Musk floats paid Twitter verification, fires board. Musk floats paid Twitter verification, fires board. And our focus word from the headline will be floats. To float something, to float an idea, to float a strategy, but usually some kind of idea, right? Whether it's a strategy or plan or whatever. Musk floats paid Twitter verification, fires board. In the next segment coming up, we'll have a dive or a closer review into the vocab and the focus word. Welcome back to the next segment. We will look at the vocab and we will also read, we will read first from the article and then we'll go slower. And in the next segment, we will look at the vocab. And then finally, at the end, the final segment will be questions and conversation about the topic, not about the English, but about the topic. So first, let's read from the article from AP News by Matt O'Brien and Barbara Ortute. Billionaire Elon Musk is already floating major changes for Twitter and faces major hurdles as he begins his first week as owner of the social media platform. Twitter's new owner fired the company's board of directors and made himself the board's sole member, according to a company filing Monday with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, a federal commission in the U.S. Musk later said on Twitter that the new board setup is temporary, but he didn't provide any details. He's also testing the waters on asking users to pay for verification. A venture capitalist working with Musk tweeted a poll or survey asking how much users would be willing to pay for the blue check mark that Twitter has historically used to verify higher profile accounts so other users know it's really them. Critics have derided the mark, often granted to celebrities, politicians, business leaders, and journalists as an elite status symbol. But Twitter also uses the blue check mark to verify activists and people who suddenly find themselves in the news, as well as little-known journalists at small publications around the globe, as an extra tool to curb misinformation coming from accounts that are impersonating people. And that is all for the reading segment. Coming up next is the vocab. We will start with the focus word from the headline. Remember, I choose the headlines and the stories simply because of interesting vocab. The topics to me are more or less irrelevant. So floats, Floats. To float an idea. Musk floats paid Twitter verification. We can substitute idea for paid Twitter verification. That's his idea. And in the future, right, I'm reading this from the future. It's not October of 2022, it's January 2023. So the idea became a reality. But first, he floated the idea. So to float an idea is to consider it, usually publicly, right, with other people, whether that's publicly to other decision makers, right, to other people who have equal power, or to your bosses, or to the public, right, to the company, to the world. I think, if I remember correctly, Elon Musk, I believe this is in the article, right? He was tweeting about, hey, I'm thinking about charging people to have verified accounts on Twitter. There was a poll. Someone made a poll or a survey, a pesquisa on Twitter about this idea. So to float an idea is to usually produce or express or communicate an idea to other people, hoping that you will get some feedback or some insight to if the idea is good or welcomed, or bad and unwelcomed. The board. Musk fires the board. BOARD. Diretoria, right? The decision-making body of an organization. Decision-making body of an organization. It could be elected or selected, right? Usually in a private company, they are selected. In a public company like Twitter, elected by the shareholders, people, as pessoas que têm ações na empresa. Hurdles, from the reading of the article, hurdles, billionaire Elon Musk is already floating major changes for Twitter and faces, or is confronting, major hurdles. Obstacles, things in your way, things in the path that you must overcome or beat or get around or go over or go under to continue making progress. So a hurdle or hurdles, something or some things in your path blocking you, obstructing you. Sole member, SOLE, sole member. Elon Musk has made himself the board's sole member. Sole means only, única, the only. A filing. According to a company filing, Elon Musk is now the board's sole member. A filing, FILING. This is a legal document or a legal communication, right? When you are submitting to the court that something is true or not true. So a filing is just a submission, a formal submission of information to the court or to a body, right? A commission, the Securities and Exchange Commission is the SEC, the group that is supposed to fiscalizar, supposed to monitor ações e empresas no mercado. Setup. Musk later said on Twitter that the new board setup is temporary, but he didn't provide any details. The board configuração, the board setup, meaning how it is arranged, meaning him being the only member, right? This is temporary, he's saying. Didn't provide details, but that's what he's alegando, claiming, or alleging, that this is a temporary configuration or setup arrangement. To test the waters. He's also testing the waters on asking users to pay for verification. So he's asking people, hey, what do you think about this idea? So to test the waters is to testar as aguas, to see if something is a good idea or bad idea. To float an idea, right? To float an idea. This is the back to the beginning of the episode of the focus phrase or word. So to test the waters is the same as to float an idea. It's to see, to gauge, Gauge, to evaluate, to do something, to test and determine if something will be a success or a failure. Probably a success or probably a failure. To grant someone something. To grant someone something. Where is this? Critics have criticized the mark. Critics have criticized the mark, often granted to celebrities, politicians, business leaders, journalists, right? Who gets the blue check mark? Celebrities, politicians, journalists, business leaders, world leaders. Often granted to these people. Granted, or to grant, the infinitive, Grant, is to give. Usually selectively, right? Not to everyone. Selectively giving something to give. In the U.S., if you go to university, you can ask the bank for money as a loan, un empresto. Or, right, you can apply for organizations to give you money. And some government organizations, some private organizations will give you a grant of money. It's a selective gift based on your qualifications. You do not have to pay it back. It's a grant. They grant it to you, meaning it's a gift. Okay, that is it for our investigation, our review, our deep dive of some of the vocab. We can't do it all. I did not read much of the article. There's a lot more. There's a lot more details in this whole story, especially because I'm in the future. I'm in January. The article is from October of last year, 2022. The blue checkmark rule is in effect. People are paying, I believe, in the U.S. it's $8 for verification on Twitter. And the next segment coming up will be questions and conversation. Welcome back to our final segment on the article from AP News. Musk floats paid Twitter verification, fires the board. We focused on float. To float an idea is to see, usually by communicating an idea, to see if it's popular, to see if it might work, to see if it will have or get a good reception or not. And now we are on the question segment and conversation. So first question, would you pay to be verified on any social media platform? Why or why not? I know Instagram is probably the most common. There's Twitter, obviously we're talking about now. Facebook, Mastodon is a new one. TikTok, Snapchat, okay, whatever platform you use, would you pay to be verified on it? Meaning a symbol or something. Would you pay for some kind of visual symbol that tells the users, hey, I am really this person? Why or why not? Personally, me, no, I would never. It's unimportant to me. Also, I don't believe it's necessary for me, right? As a, I'm using social media for business, but just personally as an individual, I don't need verification on who I am to social media. because there's no one is asking if I am really me or not, and the people who are my friends, I only use Facebook. I don't use Twitter. I don't get my news from social media, although sometimes that does happen. And other news organizations sometimes use Twitter to get news because of verified accounts. But no, personally, me, would I pay? No, I don't. I don't see any pressing or need for that type of service. Você pagaria para ser verificado em uma plataforma de social media? Por que sim e por que não? Number two, what do you think about Elon Musk's idea to have paid verification? So, more generally, what do you think about Elon Musk's idea? The idea is to have paid verification. What are your thoughts? What is your opinion on that? More or less, my opinion is you are expecting people to pay for something that previously has been free. That is not a good idea, I don't think. Also, the idea for verification is verification, and if the obstacle to being verified is just paying $8, then I could, and this has already happened, right? If you followed any news about Twitter since this idea, it's been very funny actually. But you get verified fake accounts where, and maybe that doesn't make sense. You get accounts of people making, let's say I make a fake account for Bolsonaro with a picture of Bolsonaro, and I pay $8 to Twitter, and they give me a verification that I am in fact Bolsonaro when I'm not. It causes confusion because people can pay for verification to have an account, satire or fake account that's not actually the person they are verified to be. So I think it's problematic for authenticity, for actual verification, which could be dangerous or just not safe, right? And I hate to say that, but yeah, the internet can be a place that causes lots of people to do dumb things in real life, like storm Brasilia with claims or allegations that the election is false. Things like that. Yeah, just small things. Um, so I think it's not a good idea. If you want to make money using Twitter, then I think you have to make yourself appealing to advertisers, and creating a climate where misinformation will be easier is not a good place for people who want to have good associations with their business. Right? You don't want to be advertising your company on a fake next to a fake post by a fake politician, or from someone shouting bad fake information that has a verification on their page. Number three, sorry, the Portuguese. O que vocês acham da ideia de Elon Musk para pagar para verificação das contas no Twitter? Number three, what do you think is Elon Musk's primary motivation in running Twitter and being the executive? And I asked that in the English, in bad English. What do you think Elon Musk's primary motivation is in running or operating or being the chief executive for Twitter? I think he has made a mistake. Actually, he did not want to buy Twitter after he realized he was going to pay too much. And then he tried to get out of the deal by saying, "Oh, there's too many fake accounts. This is not. Nope, their Twitter is being dishonest." And then there was some procesamientos, and Twitter sued him, and it became clear to him that, oops, Twitter can make me buy Twitter through the court system because of mistakes that Elon Musk made, or erros que ele fez. no organização e planejamento da compra. So I think he realized that he actually would have to buy Twitter eventually, so he bought it, and now he is trying to probably not lose $45 billion or some portion of that. So, but he's famously now lost more money than any human in the history of money. I think it was like $200 billion. So, and that's not just because he bought Twitter, but that's all. Most of those losses are because of this bad, silly purchase. So, not a smart decision. That's my not a motivation in running Twitter, but in why does he have Twitter? Why is he the executive? In running Twitter, I think he likes people talking about him. Like, why is he the chief executive versus just the owner? Why is he making decisions instead of hiring someone or choosing, contratando alguém para fazer todo isso? Why is he not contracting or hiring someone to do this? I think he likes the attention. I think the dude is a billionaire, kind of James Bond type villain who likes eyes on him. He likes people talking about him. He's a narcissist, it seems. So I think he gets pleasure out of him being a topic. O que você acha são as motivações para Elon Musk no dirigir o Twitter? Number 4, do you go to Twitter for news? Not just do you use Twitter, but do you use Twitter for news? Now I'm talking about actual news, about things happening in your community, in your country, in the world. Is Twitter a place that you get news from? Personally, for me, no, I don't have Twitter, but Twitter is used by news publications for information, namely because of verified accounts. If you are a journalist, you can use Twitter to see what people are saying officially if their account is verified. So I guess indirectly, yes, I have used Twitter for news because Twitter is used by journalists to get comments and to look at official statements from governments, from individuals, from groups. So yeah, technically, indirectly, yes, I do. Você usa Twitter para ler notícias? Do you think it is a problem if there are satire or imitation accounts on Twitter that can pay for verification? Why or why not? Again, do you think it is an actual or real problem if there are satire or imitation accounts on Twitter that can pay for verification marks on the account? So fake George Bush having a verification check mark. Is that a problem? In my opinion, it's both funny and fun and a problem. It's entertaining, but yes, I think it is a problem if you have fake accounts for verification. Why? I think it's obvious because truth matters, and when you have people who can pay to present false or fake information like their identity, they can also, give more. It is a cultivation of bad information is my position, and so I think that is bad, albeit in many cases it's funny, but it's not good to cultivate bad information or lies. I think that is not good for society in general, and that should be that should be a objective of both society, people, and the government to combat false information. Você acha que é um problema se tem contas de contas satíricas e imitações no Twitter que podem pagar para verificação? Por que sim, por que não? And finally, our last question: how much does journalism need Twitter? Also, how much do you think Twitter needs journalism? How much does journalism need Twitter? And how much does Twitter need journalism? I'll start with the second question. How much does Twitter need journalism? I think a lot of people use Twitter to find news. So if people can't use Twitter reliably or com confiança to get good information or accurate news, that is a problem for Twitter. And people will start to go other places. What other places? Maybe we don't know yet, but something will fill the gap. Um, how much does journalism need Twitter? I think journalism uh, has a symbiotic relationship with Twitter now. That, yeah, I think journalism does need Twitter because it's quick and easy access to information. Hopefully, the information is good information, but you can get quick, easy access, at least historically on Twitter, to official statements and comments from governments, from individuals. And so I think that is a decentralized way of getting information quickly, which I think is good for news. If verification is bad, then this is a total disaster. But that is our last question. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We went over to float an idea, to test the waters, right? To see if something is a good or bad idea, to see if it will be popular or not, to see if something will probably be a success or probably be a failure. The board or a board, diretoria, a hurdle or hurdles, right? An obstacle or obstacles, something in the way, an obstruction in your path. Sole member, sole, S-O-L-E, the only, única. A filing, submissão ao juiz, right, to the court. Setup setup, a configuration of something. So right now, the setup of the Twitter board is only one member, Elon Musk. To grant someone something is to give it to them, usually selectively, not to a large group of people, but selectively. Maybe to you, yes. To you, no. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have any thoughts or comments, criticisms, whatever, leave them in the non-toxic YouTube comment section.